Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are talking about the casting news for Halloween Kills. I'm still trying to get used to that title, Halloween Kills. I guess the best way to think about it is the season of Halloween and how it can kill. Halloween kills. Better stay away from Halloween, 'cause it kills. So yeah, guys, big news in the casting of Halloween Kills, which is supposed to be released next year, October 2020. And, we already know the major ones. We already know Jamie Lee's coming back. We already know Andy Matichak and Judy Greer coming back. We know Nick Castle is coming back in some capacity, as well as James Jude Courtney, both playing Michael. How they're going to split that up, I don't know. Is Nick going to have a little more screen time this go-around? Or I don't know, we'll see how that plays out. But we got two major announcements, and that is Anthony Michael Hall in the role of Tommy Doyle. That's right. The original kid that Laurie babysat in the original film in 1978. And of course, he ended up getting stalked by Michael as well, Him and Lindsay Wallace. I wonder if they could have her in this movie, too, the girl that played Lindsay Wallace. But we do know we got Anthony Michael Hall. Now, I have kind of mixed feelings about this. I like Anthony Michael Hall, don't get me wrong. He's a great actor, and he's been in so many classics from the 80s. You had Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Weird Science, all that stuff, Vacation he was in, the original Vacation. And later on he did The Dead Zone, which was very well received. It was a TV series that he did later on, and I think it was the early 2000s, was it? And he did a great job in that. So yeah, definitely a solid actor and a solid choice to play Tommy Doyle. But I kind of just wish they would go with the original actor that played him in the 1978 film. That way it's more authentic. Who cares if he's older or whatever, It's authentic. It would be true to the original film. But they chose to go another route with a known actor that everybody knows. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm confident that he will do a solid job in the role, no doubt. But I just wish it was a little more authentic. And, given you got Nick Castle coming back, you got Charles Cyphers returning as Sheriff Lee Brackett. What do you guys think about that? As you might have seen in some of my previous videos, I talked about that being a possibility. So I am really excited about that. And I think that's great to bring him back. Charles Cyphers, the original Sheriff Lee Brackett from the 1978 film. And he's one of the most important characters in the original Halloween. After Laurie and, of course, Dr. Loomis, you have Sheriff Lee Brackett right in the middle of things, trying to figure out what's going on in his small little town, because death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it, or you can help me to stop it. And of course, I love how Charles Cyphers, he did such a fantastic job in the original film, How he doesn't believe anything, really, that Dr. Loomis tells him about Michael. He just thinks you're just plain scared, or, there's a 1,000 kids lined up and down these streets. You're telling me they're lined up for a slaughterhouse. And Dr. Loomis is like, they could be. I love that. There's so many great lines between Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Lee Brackett. So yeah, I'm really psyched that he's back in the role, and you got another one of the original cast members, which is great. So yeah, the only thing is he hasn't done much work that I've seen as far as acting goes. I think the last thing I saw him was Halloween 2, 1981. He also did The Fog as well, But I don't recall seeing him in too much after that, I believe he was in Escape from New York too. He had a small role in that, I believe. But yeah, so I have no doubt that he will step it up. I mean, look at Mark Hamill. He hadn't done a movie in years when they brought him back in to do The Last Jedi, and he did a great job, despite some whatever you may think about The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill certainly stepped up to the plate, and he did a great job in that role. Just as I think Charles Cyphers will do. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how they use the character of Sheriff Lee Brackett. Is he still going to be the sheriff, or is he going to be like, long retired, but somehow Jamie Lee Curtis calls him and brings him into the fold, to help him take down the monster known as Michael Myers. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see, and I think it's really cool that they're bringing back these original characters. Now, if we could just bring in Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, that would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen. But you never know, Or maybe they could bring her in some different kind of role, like they did with the Halloween remakes, where they cast her as Annie and stuff like that. Maybe they could have her play a different role, but to see her back as Jamie Lloyd, that would be so freaking awesome. I think it's kind of too late at this point, but you never know in Hollywood, anything can happen. And I know the fans would really love to see her on the big screen again in a Halloween movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. But at any rate, I am really excited. Now, are there any other possibilities of people from the original film? You also have Nancy Stevens as Nurse Marion Chambers. She did not die in the original film. Yeah, she died in Halloween H2O, but, Jamie Lee Curtis died in Resurrection. She still came back, Those movies don't matter anymore, technically, in this timeline. So, as far as I'm concerned, you could have Nurse Marion Chambers come back, played by Nancy Stevens. That would be great. And like I said, you could have the girl that played Lindsay Wallace, or at least have the character of Lindsay Wallace. You could have her back too. Yeah, all kinds of possibilities, But at any rate, I am really getting excited for this new film, and even though it's a year away, I'm going to be building up the tension and the suspense in waiting for this film to come out. So I am really excited. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Who would you like to see come back into the Halloween franchise in Halloween Kills? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.